Mac, part of the Call to Action crew, and we're here on this week's episode of Schmoebates, where we argue and we debate to the death, to the blood, to the action army. What's up, Kelsey?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this one. I've been looking forward to it since it was announced. I mean, we got my girl Danielle competing. We got Buck from the General's Chat, who is a pretty cool guy. I'm excited to see what's going to happen this evening.
Absolutely. Everyone on the screen is going to be an action general, and it's being an action general, I feel like it's not just a title, it's a mentality, it's an attitude, it's a lifestyle.
A lifestyle.
Yes, and I feel like we have two generals debating today that I like to think embody that lifestyle.
I agree. I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to it. So if you're not familiar with Schmoebates, we do this every single Wednesday evening. I can't believe it's if I don't even know what day it is. What year is it?
I don't even know anymore. I've lost what decade it is. It's fine.
It feels like that. Oh, we are going to be having Danielle Ramirez, who is actually coming into this match pretty hot. She is currently technically undefeated with one win to her name. So the odds are definitely in her favor going to this match. But up against Brandon, this is his first match, his first debate. So it's kind of exciting to see him, hitting it as well. All right. Let's go ahead and get them introduced. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right. Our first competitor. You might know him, the big man on campus. You might know him as that one guy that's kind of obsessed with, Team Trader, whatever. I don't know. But he is the moon over my hammy, Mr. Buckingham. What's up,
ladies?
Yes. I'm so excited to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm really excited for this, especially when I saw what we were doing. I was like, ooh, this is going to be fun. So then I started to wrap my head around. I'm like, what could I do for some of these questions? And I'm like, ooh, there's been a lot of good stuff that's happened with Team Action. So I'm pretty excited.
Absolutely. Team Action has a very extensive history. And Kelsey, I know you and I have been fans of Team Action. I feel like a millennia.
Feels like forever.
It feels like it. And it's really kind of cool to see. We're having more arguments and debates about him, so I don't want to cry. But, if we're going to talk about crying at the same time, but also badasses at the same time, Danielle.
Let's go, Action Army. Let's do this.
Got the glasses on, got the claw. That's the most action thing you've ever fucking done.
You totally got that crying part out. I'm sorry. All right. What's up, y'all? I am super pumped about this. This is exciting. I am not gonna put anything against Buck over here. I have seen him argue. I have seen him talk on his podcast and all of that good stuff. So I know I'm going against someone who knows what they're talking about.
That is intensely true. Okay, so like I mentioned, when it comes to being an action general, it's a lifestyle, it's a mentality, it is an attitude as well. So how do you guys feel about taking that mindset going into today's debates and arguments? Brandon, how are you feeling about that? How do you plan to use those skills?
Just by being myself. I live, I breathe being a general for the Action Army. I don't have to change on who I am, change how I act. It's just who I am. I may have joined as a general late, but I'm going in full blast, 100%. Let's do this.
Represented. I love it. And Danielle, I mean, whenever we rep the Action Army, and not only that, but, Action Army, but also at C2A at live events, it's like a whole thing. Isn't that right?
I don't want to pull rank here, and I don't want to say that I have seniority when it comes to being a general in the Action Army, or just being in the Action Army overall, being in the Action Army in general. I've been here since day one. Anyone who's in that chat, you all know I've been here Team Action since day one, always and forever. It is what it is.
That's definitely true. All right, let's just get to it. So, if you're not familiar with Schmoebates and this is your first time joining in to check us out, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. Schmoebates is a Schmoedown themed debate show where we argue, like you mentioned, and debate to the death in all things Schmoedown. And so we have 3 questions that these competitors are going to be arguing today. I gave them the questions, yesterday, and they also gave me their answers. And so just make sure they don't end up picking each other's live. So we want to prevent that at all times. Now we start with the opening statements, 1 minute apiece. And we're going to be starting with Brandon for the first question, followed by Danny, and then also followed by 4 minutes of open debate as well. During that time, they may really make each other's counter arguments and really kind of solidify their own debate as well. And then finally, they go into the closing statement to really kind of wrap things up, really make it nice and pretty, but also really address any counter arguments that they didn't really get a chance to discuss during the open debates as well. Now, again, for the first question, we're going to start with Brandon. For the second question, we'll start with Danny. And for the third and final question, we're going to be using the team action coin. Oh, it's so majestic. Go to it. If you're not an Action Army General, this coin is worth it. Okay, so on one side, we have Team Trader. And the other side, we have Team Guy. Right up here. Team Guy right there. And that's going to determine, the flip of the coin is really going to determine who is going to go first or if they would like to defer. So, all right. Kelsey, boo-boo, are you ready?
I am so ready. I have been looking forward to this all week, and now it's time, so let's start.
Man. Sweet baby Jesus. And also, we have a lot of generals in here. I mean, in the chat, and a lot of people that are watching that are very focused on Team Bateman or Team Guy or whatever it may be. We want to keep this specific to the arguments. If one person makes a great argument, awesome, and you feel like they made the best argument for that question, even if you don't like the answer, you got to vote for them. You don't want to argue in place of someone just because they're your best buddy or just because you feel bad for them or something. I don't know. I don't know. That kind of thing. So we just gotta let you guys know, definitely be indifferent going into these arguments for sure, that we take very seriously in action. That's for damn sure.
Hashtag
All right.
Best argument.
Best argument for sure. All right. So going into the first question, please, Kelsey, do the honors and reading.
I would be happy to. Best team action moment.
Team action moment. There's a lot of different directions so you can take this. Absolutely.
So many.
All right. Starting with you, Brandon. You got 60 seconds on the clock to make your case. What did you pick?
I picked the tackle. It's just a single phrase. Oh, I didn't know. Okay. So team action has had a very long history. Lots of matches, lots of amazing moments. So much amazing things have happened. But if you ask anyone, team action, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Andrew Guy tackling John Roca and making a pretty decent tackle. I'm a sports guy, so I was watching it, and I was like, that was a pretty decent tackle. And John had it coming. Just saying, he was running his mouth. He was always jumping into their post-game interviews, and it was just enough. Sometimes you gotta end the argument, and that tackle by Guy was also really good in terms of technique. So it's the tackle. Come on, what can you say?
And time.
An iconic tackle indeed. Okay, so just want to, let's say I was kind of, when you said the tackle, I did want to get that. I just wanted a clarification. You said the Guy tackling John Roca, because obviously in Schmoedown there's more than one tackle.
Yes.
For sure. But yeah, that is a pretty iconic moment, in Schmoedown in general, not just for his team action as well. So yeah, I definitely love that pick. And over to you, Danielle. All right, you have 60 seconds to make your claim. What is the best team action moment?
That's right. One phrase, pretty similar, the table. The table is the best Action Army moment because it solidified the breakup. That is when Team Action broke up, but that rang true to every Team Action fan to show how faithful we were to this team. That moment came at a pivotal moment. Who's the Boss just lost to the Shire Wolves for the belt. Drew came in there trying to bring back Team Action, and Ben, this is when the traitor was born. Ben decided to go off and stay with Who's the Boss. There's a lot of Easter eggs inside of this one particular cut scene that I cannot wait to get into because it really stems a lot of other things that has happened inside of the Action Army and inside of the Schmoedown. So the table is the epitome of Team Action moments.
All right. Yielding the rest of your time. Perfect. Cool. Oh, man. Okay. Guys, this is
so hard.
This is very difficult. Okay, so again, personal biases aside, Kelsey, what are your thoughts? I mean, would you say about these picks?
They're both very interesting. I feel the Roka tackle really changed Schmoedown. It changed what we were expecting to happen in matches and things like that for it to become a more physical sport. But then the table changed the Action Army. So it's just, it caused the divide that now we constantly still bicker about to this day. So they're both very important moments. And so I'm excited to hear how they're going to convince me and the audience which is better. So.
Absolutely. These are two iconic tackles in their own way when the tackle won the table. And, I can't wait to kind of see them dive into it further as far as, not only how it impacted Schmoedown, but also how it everyone's reaction to those moments as well. Those were moments that weren't exactly fleeting. Okay. That's for damn sure. Okay, now you guys have 4 minutes to make your arguments, starting right now.
Ladies first.
All right, Buck, here we go. So this is a cut scene that happened. So it is definitely a moment. It's not a moment that comes after a match. It's a moment that's inside of a cut scene. When cut scenes were super at their high. Not only is it an important moment for the Action Army, but it is a pivotal moment for the Schmoedown. There are plenty of Easter eggs inside of this particular moment. We get Ben stays with Who's the Boss. Andrew Guy kind of teases the family coming together. And at the end, whenever Drew actually does tackle Ben into this table, Mark Riley and Finstock come out and console Ben. And you get a little snip of a line, hey, from Bobby Gucci, have you seen my mask? And we all know where that led up to. So this moment brings so much more to the Action Army than anything else. Brandon, I'm going to let you get some words in, bud. Go.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure to hear and see if there was any errors in your statement that you were saying there. But how could you choose this moment? If you're true Team Action, you want them together for all time. We are the stands of Ben and Drew. This moment showed the weasel that Bateman is. He's out for himself. He threw his brother aside.
He definitely did throw his brother aside, and that's the whole point, because that shows how Team Action was so big inside of the Schmoedown.
How can you support a traitor? How can you support a traitor?
Exactly. That's what happened within the Action Army. The Action Army, it caused a civil war inside of this. Not only did this lead to Houston, Andrew Guy also says something, I'll see you in the ring, and that was before we even developed the Houston match. There's so many fun little tidbits inside of this, and it created Team Guy versus Team Bateman, which is still a discourse that's inside of the Action Army today, and we have so much fun with it. And that's the point, is us as fans have fun with this moment inside of it.
Yeah, I guess you could say so. I'm not a big fan of people that throw their best friend, their brother, aside just to win a belt. I thought brothers were closer than that. They're basically
What did Ben do when Andrew tackled Roka? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ben didn't go over there to defend Drew.
Team Action are heels. That's what they are. They changed the Schmoedown. They showed everyone what a true heel team is. Everyone loves to hate Team Action.
Everyone loves to hate team action. Absolutely 100% correct. And guess what? The Action Army stayed strong even after this moment, because this is the moment that team action breaks up. And guess what? The Army is still here. We are still here to this day debating this right now.
I've lost a little respect for you. If you're true team action, you don't support a traitor.
Oh my God, I almost actually spit out my drink.
It's probably because it's White Claw.
I've been here since day one, bud.
Just because I was not a general does not mean I was not a part of team action. I've been here also since the beginning. Just because I'm not a general in terms of the word being classified does not mean that I'm team action.
This moment solidified the Action Army in the Schmoedown altogether. This is
the tackle changed the Schmoedown. It showed that this was more than just a movie trivia show. It showed that it is a sport.
And the table enhanced that whole thing. And we're still talking about the Action Army today.
Because they're the best.
And time.
Yeah, I agree with that. That they are the best. We are the best. Yeah. Oh, that was fun. I'm sorry.
We got the first argument out of the way. How you feeling? How you feeling? Start with you, Brandon. How you feeling about those arguments?
Man, my heartbeat is getting up there. My blood is boiling. This is fun. This is fun.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what about you, Danielle? How do you feel about your arguments?
I feel pretty good. I'm sad that Brandon lost some respect for me in the Action Army, but I stand by this. I stand by my argument.
All right. Okay. Well, not gonna lie, there was some arguments, solid arguments made on both sides for sure. Now, something I do, like I mentioned, before even going into the arguments, I did kind of want to hear you guys talk about, how it impacted the fan base, how it's talked about to this day. Or, just Schmoedown in general, how it really impacted Schmoedown overall. And, so I would really love to kind of hear from you, Brendan, just kind of going into that. Do we talk about the tackle? What circumstances do we talk about the tackle? How often it's brought up, situations like that? And I didn't really hear you make any comeback response to, the tackle being made in the conversation that's compared to the table conversation as well. Kelsey, what did you think of some of these arguments made?
Well, I'm slightly offended by both competitors' statements. I took them a little personally, but I both think they did a really great job. Honestly, being impartial, am really torn on which argument is better at this point. So I am extremely excited for these closing arguments.
Absolutely. And okay, let's go ahead and get to it. You guys have 1 minute to really kind of solidify your answers and really make everyone vote in your favor. Absolutely. And if you do go and vote, so you have to do it on Twitter. Please wait until after these closing statements to really make your decision on who deserves your vote for sure. All right. Okay, starting with you, Brandon. You have 60 seconds on the clock to make your case starting now.
So before we had the tackle, the Schmoedown was this little cute movie trivia show with a bunch of, I guess you could call insiders, experts in the YouTube movie review space. It was a fun thing to watch. You could see that a lot of these guys enjoyed movies, but the tackle changed the Schmoedown. It took it to another level, made it a sport. Any person that you want to introduce and show them that it's something more than just basically a game with two people guessing what movie it is, what's the date, what's the quote. You show them this, and it shows to them that it's more than just some random movie trivia show. There's some substance, there's some excitement, there's some entertainment involved. That's my final word.
Okay. All right. All right. So your really arguments was how it really transformed the idea of the Schmoedown overall, it sounds like, right? It was suddenly not just a show about people that argue trivia. It was suddenly bigger than that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now over to you, Danielle. You also have 60 seconds on the clock to make your case and really solidify your argument as well. All right. Starting right now.
It's first and foremost, it's very hard for me to argue against anything that involves team action because Brandon does make a very good point about that. The tackle did completely change that. But what that meant, that just helps enhance the table incident because now team action or the Action Army wasn't really solidified at this moment, but this was a turning point for team action and anyone who is involved with the Action Army and anyone who genuinely has been there for the long run to watch our dads fight was a very sad thing to see. So this is a pivotal moment and the best team action moment because it showed that no matter what, the Action Army has always been there for each other and has always been strong, and we will continue to be there for each other regardless of any of how the Schmoedown grows and where each of Ben or Drew has gone inside of it. So that's why this is one of the most important moments inside of the Action Army.
That face is a lot, Alex.
I'm just gonna chug this White Claw.
Very solid closing arguments, for sure.
This is I don't want to say these are two hugely emotional moments when it comes to team action and Schmoedown as a whole. There were huge turning points to not only Schmoedown fans but team action in particular. They really both of these moments really caused a divide amongst the fandom overall. I remember seeing them happen, in the chats, and everyone went crazy. They went balls to the wall nuts. All right. Okay. So if you decided already, hey, I want to vote in favor of Brandon. Hey, and I want to vote in favor of Danielle, in favor of the tackle versus the table, you can do so right now, over on Twitter. Please feel free to do so. Or you can also vote towards the end of the arguments, the total arguments as well. Totally up to you. Jake is actually in charge of posting all of our things on Twitter, and I know he is amazing at doing that, so thank you so much for doing that for us, Jake. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, but overall, I think, in a nutshell, team action breaking up is incredibly tragic. It is. They were both, I cried at both moments. I also cried when, Guy, almost retired, so not like
man,
remember that? I legit cried. I was
that's a moment, man. That is a moment. Oh,
just write me in. It's fine.
You can make that happen.
Yeah. Write it in.
Okay.
I'm writing vote.
Okay. Well, now that we're done with our first questions and everything, how are you guys feeling about going into your next question? How you guys feeling? A little more confident, a little more excited?
I feel a lot more passionate about my next pick, definitely, for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm just really excited for this one.
As you should. I love this one. Also, I feel like both of y'all are wrong when you guys told me your answers, but personal opinion. And when you guys see the question, you'll understand why. Yeah. Okay. Kelsey, please do the honor.
All right. Best team action match.
Whammy! Very personal. It was a very personal answer you had to provide us. Make Kelsey and I convince us that your answer is right because both of y'all have picked really not great picks. So
wow. I feel a little biased already coming.
No, I don't I'm not gonna lie. Looking at your picks, I was like, these are okay picks, but there's several other matches where I was like, these are better. But that's a matter of personal opinion. So you got to convince both Kelsey and I. Okay. So like I mentioned, let's hear it out. Okay. Starting with you, Danny, for your opening statement. You have 1 minute on the clock starting now.
That's right, y'all. I made sure to clear this with the judges and cleared this with Buck also because I wanted to make sure that this was a valid argument because I believe that this is the best team action match that we've ever had, and that is Andrew Guy versus Ben Bateman in Houston last year, almost a year ago today, because not only did the table lead up to that event, we got to see it inside of an actual wrestling ring, which is what the movie Trivia Schmoedown is partly based on, is wrestling. So we get to see all of that, and it's a moment that lives in infamy in so many different ways. There is so much about this match that is so fun that it's the best team action match that we've ever seen. We were all hyped for Houston. The Action Army was solidified in Houston, and Houston will forever live in infamy, not only in the Schmoedown, but in our action history in general.
Dang.
I see what you did there.
You picked up what I put down?
Yeah. I did.
Okay. All right. Over to you, Brandon. You also have 60 seconds to make your claim on the best team action match. Let's hear it. No pressure. Let's get down.
So the best team action match, hands down, no debate. Yes, Alex, no debate. I don't care what yours is the against the live event against the Shire Wolves. It has one of the best promos ever. It is a great match to introduce to people, to lead up to who these two teams are and how they got there. Now, the Shire Wolves were 1-0 coming into this match. Team Action was 6-3. We had some great one-liners there. 5 rhymes with loser, Shire pups. And can anyone else get a crowd pumped up like Team Action can, like they did in that match? The crowd was already on their feet and the match hadn't even begun. Like, how can you not be excited for that? They are truly the best team in the Schmoedown as well, the best entertainers in the Schmoedown.
Woo! Very solid arguments, absolutely, on both ends. I remember how much I love both these matches, but also at the same time, the best match of all time is still Top 10 versus Team Action, the first one. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. Okay. All right.
Not like easy pickings.
But I love both these debates as well. You guys have made some solid arguments for sure. I feel like a little bit going into the open debates, I do feel like Brendan has a slight upper hand, really kind of talk about, the crowd aspect, how crazy that how much of an effect that had, on, not only the Action Army, because, we're very into live events. We love to support our own. And, that has a huge impact as well. Kelsey, what are your thoughts on the opening statements and the picks?
I think they were both very solid opening statements, very different options. Houston, it's the Army against each other, so it's team action, but it's us being torn apart, as opposed to team action versus the Shire Wolves, which was an amazing match, another live event that was just a really solid moment for team action together. So I love how different these matches are, and I think I'm really interested in hearing what they have to say after this.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Like I mentioned, don't forget to vote for the first question if you already have your answer solidified and up in that noggin. And let's go ahead and dive into it. You guys have 4 minutes of open debate. Sorry, my cat just hopped on the table. What are you doing?
Action cat.
My cat just literally jumped on the table. I don't know what she's doing. I'm just going to move my pizza. Nibbling on it. She'll start nibbling on it, and I'll want to race after her because she's dragging the pizza across the floor, and I'll probably still eat it, being me. See, right here, I wasn't exaggerating. Hi, girl. Let's not.
Action cat.
Action cat.
All right, 4 minutes starting right now.
Danny, no offense to you and anyone in the Action Army, but the Houston event, it was fun. It was pretty cool that it was in a actual wrestling ring, because that's what the Schmoedown was based after. But in terms of a match, it wasn't that entertaining. It was pretty obvious from the start that Christian had a certain mindset on how he wanted that match to go. He didn't hear Andrew say his repeat because Ben was on a hot streak going up to this match, and he wanted it to continue. Now, Christian may not have influenced it, and also the wheel. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let you finish. All right, but here's the deal. Yes, exactly. Everything that you're saying just enhances my argument as to why this is the best team action match. Did you not rewatch that whole match? That shit was exciting from beginning to end. Andrew Guy walks
as
out.
entertainment, not as a movie trivia match.
Okay, yes, but we all knew at the beginning, like at this time, and there's no shade, that Ben Bateman was the stronger opponent or was the stronger player in team action. Yes, it's not a lie. We all knew that as Action Army, but we got the most infamous thing from the Schmoedown ever. I want to spin again. Who has ever said in any moment inside of the Schmoedown
because he knew that
they want to spin again,
and then that Christian wanted him to win, so he knew it wouldn't matter.
And yeah, we have that argument against Andrew Guy getting in his repeat the question late, all of that good stuff. But
it wasn't late. Christian said 3, and then he said repeat.
No, okay, I can argue that for sure, and you're gonna make me argue against Team Guy, but that's whatever. I'm gonna skip that. He said it right after 1. I watched it. I understand. Doesn't matter. He still ignored it. But Ben Bateman actually spinning Spinner's Choice again after he spun it twice, that has made the digital wheel a mortal enemy of everyone inside of the Action Army. Not only was it inside of an actual wrestling ring, it played out like a full wrestling match. Roxy Stryer comes out in the middle of the match. RMB comes out in the middle of the match. The Horsemen come out in the middle of the match. And even though this is a team action argument, this is where the current 5 Horsemen was started. The chair part 2.
We weren't talking about the Horsemen. We're talking about the Action Army.
Okay, then the chair part 2, when Andrew Guy tried to pull out the chair and John Roca gets his revenge from the match that you were talking about in your first argument, takes the chair away, hands it to Ben, and then Ben knocks out Andrew Guy. That was a beautiful moment regardless of what team you were on, because it was so much fun. The energy, the hype around Houston was insane. All live events are amazing and all live events are fun, but after the Houston match, it is solidified inside of every single live event that the Action Army will be there and the Action Army will be strong, and it's because of Houston.
Like I said, Houston was a fun match, but the question is best team action match. Not the best Ben and Drew match. It's best team action match.
John Carlos Stanton.
Yes, that. And that's on Ben, the traitor, by the way. No, Shire Wolves, though, versus Team Action was a actual match the entire time. After round 1, 12-10 Shire Wolves. After round 2, when the Shire Wolves are done, 20-10. After Team Action goes through their round 2, it's 22-20. Yes, he is the biggest loser. He is a traitor to Team Action. The fact that he is still not with Ben, not with Drew, and he's not even trying.
This is planted
my heart.
For the best storylines ever. Okay.
You guys, I cried at both of these live events. And bringing up such events might make me cry again. It just might. Okay. All right, guys. These, again, even though they're not my favorite match picks, they are fantastic picks. Holy cannoli. Kelsey, what are your thoughts? My lady, my girl.
Again, feeling attacked, but it's fine. Love both these matches. Love both the arguments. I think they're both all very valid with their opinions on this. Going into this, Houston is my favorite team action match of all time. It is what got me to be a very loyal supporter. But then going back and rewatching the Shire Wolves match, now that I am as into this as I am, I have a new appreciation for it, getting to see things from a new perspective now that we've seen Houston as well. Mm-hmm. I definitely need to hear closing arguments, and you guys are both lucky that I don't get a vote because
I couldn't
insulted me on numerous occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, is it Zeke? Not sure. But is there a live event that I didn't cry? Actually, there are several live events that I didn't cry at. New York, for example.
Yeah,
the one with Haley against Snyder. But then again, also it wasn't focused on team action, but I digress. Okay, so you guys, again, these are really, really great picks. I didn't hear, from what I remember, I didn't hear any kind of follow-up response to Brandon. I know you said, at the end of the day, Ben versus Guy, it's not a team action match in the traditional sense. As members of Team Action, but it's not an actual team action match specifically. So I would really love to hear you kind of give a follow-up in response to that, because it is, definitely a point that he has made, also just mentioning the question. But also, these are both, really famous live events that are both talked about pretty regularly when talking about the history of Schmoebates in general, for sure. Kelsey, are there any particular arguments that you would love to see them make in their closing statements?
One thing I think maybe Daniel's touched on a little bit, but I want to hear a little bit more about the Shire Wolves match, is like what it did to the game and how it changed it. Talking about just like the overall impact these matches had from Schmoedown then out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Repercussions, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we have 1 minute for each of these guys to make their closing statement. Starting with you, Danielle. Hit us.
All right.
Seconds.
So the repercussions from the Shire Wolves and Team Action match is very obviously right there. That is where the questionability, that's not the right word, I can't think of words, of Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman, because Ben Bateman had always been hot on his heels. Like I said earlier, we all knew that Ben Bateman was kind of the stronger trivia person in the team. And then for Ben Bateman to just blatantly just blurt out John Carlos Stanton was the nail in the coffin, basically, when it came to team action. So that being the best team action match is kind of really where team action was on the brinks. Like that really put something inside of Drew that just kind of made that whole thing questionable. So was it the best team action match? Was it a good match? Absolutely 100%. Was it the best team action match with Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman involved? Houston was, because it's Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman. That's team action civil war. That created a real civil war in the community. I hate arguing anything against any part of my dudes, okay? This is very hard for me.
If you cry, we're not going to give you votes just because you cry. Brandon, can you cry? Brady, can you cry for us? Just to even the playing field a little bit.
I don't want to give any ammo to Jake to make fun of me, so no.
I'm sorry, is crying ammo? What?
Jake will use it as ammo.
I'm not going to hold that against you because you're right.
So,
ow. Okay.
Just trying to limit the amount of shots that I can take from Jake. So
I have a lot of feelings about that statement. Okay. All right. Now it's you. You also have 1 minute on the clock to make your closing statement. So really kind of solidify votes in your favor, starting right now.
So the Houston live event, in terms of the Action Army, was where you all came together. It's where it was really born, and it has really expanded from there. We have this channel called Action. But they're separate between Ben and Drew in that match. I just don't find it as entertaining of a match because it's really one-sided. For me, what makes a good match is when it is back and forth the entire way. You don't know who's going to win. After round one, we knew who was going to win. We definitely knew, especially after Christian wouldn't give that repeat. Now, the Shire Wolves live event, hands down, has the best post-match moment. The revealing of the 5 horsemen. No debate. Best event. Best moment at a live event.
Time. Perfect timing with the 5. It was at the 5-second mark.
Right? That was perfect. I love that. I'm sorry.
I saw that 30. I'm like, all right, let me see if I can time this right.
That was beautiful.
All right. I'm sorry. I refuse to put the hand up. Nope. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you guys heard it. That was our second argument today. We are clocking in at just about 40 minutes right now, and we're just going to keep going. Okay, we have one more question remaining, and, just to kind of give you guys a little break, we're going to wait 5 minutes. Just a few minutes, just kind of let us kind of chill out and everything, and just to kind of recuperate a wee bit. How you feeling right now? How you feeling about your arguments, about your picks, and all that good stuff?
I feel kind of bad that I'm making Danny get really, really emotional.
I know
that she has to argue against her boys.
But here's the thing, Brandon. When am I not emotional? So it would have happened either way with anyone who was up on here. But like Brandon said, it is very hard to argue against anything. So Brandon, I know you're feeling the same thing whenever you're going against it. Going against anything team action for people who are generals is hard for us, because we do have a lot of love for both of the dudes on the team outside of the Schmoedown and just in life in general. So this was such a fun thing to try to debate with each other and have fun with this, because I feel like, Brandon, you and I both really take this to heart. You and I both have a fucking podcast about the guys and the Schmoedown in general, because it's done so much for our lives. And you and I both being generals and all of that stuff, and in the general chat, we have so much fun. And I can't wait to get into that next one for that, because that's going to be fun. Yeah, vote for Kelsey!
All right. Okay. So yeah, you're totally right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a team. It's again, it's an attitude, it's a mentality that's really kind of brings us all together. That really kind of inspired us to not only kind of be a part of this community and when it comes to Schmoedown, because we're a very tight-knit community, but the Action Army in particular. Now, speaking of which, if you want to send any questions or comments, or if you want to berate these two and be like, you should pick wrong or you picked right or whatever it may be, you can let us know through Streamlabs, and we'll be more than happy to read them and chat about them for sure. Okay, so we do. I also want to let you guys know we do have an announcement. I have to have an announcement to make here at the end of these arguments. So just giving y'all a heads up. So coming your way.
I know. I am unaware of this, so that's nice.
Yeah, so it's really kind of curious to see how this is going to go down for sure. Okay, now I think that's been a few minutes. Kelsey, I'm excited. Okay, honestly, Kelsey, I really would love to see your pick for this next question. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not sure, actually. I love this next question. This is my favorite question. The next one that's coming up.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before. What is this? Because Action Army is all about a mentality. It's an attitude. We talk about movies, but especially what movie character best embodies mentality and the attitude of the Action Army general? Kelsey, I know you have a bazillion and one picks, so I know I know you probably would pick Harley Quinn. Not gonna lie to that, right?
Honestly, I feel like she'd be team Action fan. So
100%.
Yeah, she probably would be.
Yeah.
Good taste. So.
All right, let's hear it. Okay, so for the third and final question for this one, we actually use the action coin to really kind of determine who is going to go first. So previously we determined who's going to be on which side. Okay, so Team Traitor was going to go towards Danielle, and also alternatively, Team Hero / Guy / God is actually going to be on Brandon's side. Okay, so now, if it lands in your favor, you can choose to go first or you can defer. Totally up to you. All right. It is Team Bateman.
Oh, snap, son. I'm going to go first.
Want to go first?
I will go first. Yeah, I'll go first.
All right. What movie character did you pick?
All right, so this was a tough question, because there are a lot of different traits that can embody an Action Army general. Not only because all of us are very different in everything that we do. Anyone who is inside of that general's chat knows that each and every single one of us are very different. But I had to go with a personal choice of mine that also embodies something that I've always carried with team action. It's an inside joke with me and the guys, and that's Gracie Hart from Miss Congeniality. She is loyal. She is headstrong. She's a true friend to everything. She's fucking funny as shit. It's a comedy movie, so you got to get in there with all of that stuff. And if you don't have a sense of humor, you're not allowed inside of the Action Generals chat. Also, if you don't, you have to just be able to run with the punches and go with everything that's going on and find all of that stuff, because you will, if you silence the chat for an hour, you've missed out on 10 different conversations. So you
ridiculous.
need to be up on everything to be an Action General in that Action General chat, like Gracie Hart.
All right. Funny, loyal, friendly, all around a pretty knowledgeable person. Absolutely. Like you mentioned, you got to be on top of all those chats. And over to you, Brandon. Who did you pick? What did you pick for best movie character to best embody the Action Army General?
So when you first gave us this question, I thought about it for a couple minutes. I'm like, Action Army General. So I was going through all action movies or fight movies. And then it hit me as soon as I heard as soon as I started saying the word fight. There is one movie that we are always discussing in the chat. They should probably change it on the Patreon. You have to have a prerequisite to see this movie, and that is Warrior. Warrior is the movie of the generals. We're always talking about it. Someone will say, "Oh, I haven't seen it," and everyone will lose their mind. So the character that I picked is Brendan Conlon, played by Joel Edgerton. I feel like his character just fits better with most of the Action Army. The Tom Hardy character is kind of not as many, I feel like, generals match with that.
Okay.
All right. These are really, really great picks. I still stand by it. One of the best picks, you could have gone with Ethan Hunt. You could have gone with Les Grossman, with TC Legend himself, or alternatively, even more legendary, it would have to be Cerulean. Miss Miranda Priestley herself from The Devil Wears Prada. That would have been my pick. Alas, I am not debating today. Now, these are two really great picks, with Grace Hart from Miss Congeniality versus Brian Conlon, Joel Edgerton character from The Warrior. Indeed, a very iconic film within the Action Army, family for sure. Okay. He would say, you know what? Let's save until after the debates. Okay, you guys got 4 minutes to make your open debates. Let's hear it. Starting now.
All right, the question isn't what movie embodies the mentality of the attitude of the Action Army General. It's what
I said the character, by the way. I said the character.
And here's the difference between the character that you chose versus the other character that's inside of it. If you would have chosen Tom Hardy's character, then absolutely, I would have been in there. Chaos, still somewhat loyalty, but still kind of, because what Tom Hardy does inside of that movie, he moves away from his family, which is what Ben Bateman did to the fucking Action Army. So that's what it is. So if that would have been that character, I could have totally understood that. But when it comes to the generals and to everyone who's in there, this is a funny chat. We can always say that we're strong and we're proud and we are and all of that stuff, but Gracie Hart is all of that. Gracie Hart is also funny. You've been in that generals chat, and what we all do, we have a sense of humor, because guess what? We don't take this Action Army rivalry that seriously, because we still love Team Action and who they are. And because we still love Team Action and who they are. And we're always going to be loyal to this team and to this, even if they give up on us, even if they break up and decide for us to not, you can't go and continue to be an undercover agent for this because we've already given up on it. Team Action broke up. So now there's no longer an Action Army. Action Army prevailed, and it's still here. And the generals are a prime example of that, because we are all here, always loud, always vocal. And we will always make sure to stand up for anyone who is a part of the Action Army in every single part of the way. I'm gonna let you talk.
So we're called the Action Army, which basically involves camaraderie, brothership, fighting, warrior. It all goes together. Those two characters in Warrior are basically two brothers that just grew apart because one chose to kind of walk away and not help the other. Now, Gracie Hart is a great character in that movie. She's hilarious. It is a funny movie.
Miss Congeniality also follows all of the original AMA rules, and I have stood by this argument since a long time, for a very long time. If you want to take it old school, if you want to bring Action Army old school, go back to Action Movie Anatomy. Look at those four rules of what makes an action movie, and Miss Congeniality has always fell in line with each and every single one of those rules. I just want to make sure I say that.
But do we talk about Miss Congeniality all the time in the Generals chat? No, we do not. Warrior is always discussed in there.
There's plenty of movies that we talk about inside.
Not nearly as close
Not nearly
as Warrior.
as much as Warrior.
Warrior comes up at least once a week.
Warrior comes up every fucking day. It's about
You literally can put a message.
What character embodies the Action Army? So tell me, how does your character embody the Action Army? More than what Gracie Hart could actually do, because she's been loyal. She's always been there. She's been headstrong. She's going to go against what everyone else says. She's going to bring a crowd.
So the reason why I chose this character is I feel like it really embodies how the Action Army was when we first came in. No one really gave us a chance. No one really understood us. But little by little, we started to grow on people. And then all of a sudden, we were there on top as the best faction. Definitely, for sure. Miss Congeniality, I know the question is what character? I can't move away from Warrior is the movie of the Action Army.
So with this last 10 seconds really quickly, that's what's gonna so that's the difference between if you're inside of the group and whether you're outside of the group. For everyone who is not a part of the Generals, who understand what you need to be a part of the Generals, you gotta be funny.
Let's do some breathing exercises before we go to our closing statement.
You have any idea how hard it was for me to argue against a Warrior? I'm sorry.
Okay, Danny, let's do some yoga meditation. Brennan, let's do some breathing exercises. For the love of God, do some breathing exercises.
I am breathing.
You're like,
We can't see you breathe. There you go. That's how you breathe properly.
there you go.
There we go. Right here.
Damn it, Brandon wanted to start. Damn it.
All right, awesome. Okay, you guys, if you're okay in the chat, let us know what you think. What do you think of these picks? What would you have picked? Let us know, right now. We would really we would love to hear what you would think. What arguments would you guys like to say? There was a lot of love in here, mentioning Bethany was quick to say sisterhood. What? Not brotherhood, but just saying. But there's, but you're definitely right. We will lose our shit if you haven't seen Warrior. I have been on that end. I saw Warrior the first time, like maybe 3 weeks ago, and everyone lost their shit. So I can definitely, confirm that for sure.
I would like to state for the record that I have seen Warrior more times than Jake Yakavetta has.
Oh, look at that.
Well, have you seen it more than Ben and Drew, though?
No, absolutely not.
No one has.
Okay,
The movie haven't seen as much as
Oh man, that was such a great pick. I was so sad when he picked it. I'm sorry.
We also, Mike even mentioned, Deadpool. That would have been a great pick as well. Not kidding. And I believe Danny, our boy, he actually mentioned some character along the lines of Nick Cage, and iconic actor. I mean, every character I feel like is definitely an Action Army character for sure. Okay, so we are going to be going into it, our closing arguments. You guys have 1 minute apiece to really, put a bow on your statements and really solidify the votes in your favor. You guys make your opinions known and go vote after these closing statements to determine who's going to walk away a winner and who's going to walk away a loser. Let's see it go down. Okay, now we do have 1 minute on the clock. Danny, you chose to go first in the third and final question. That means you are also going to go first in the closing statements as well. You have 1 minute on the clock starting now.
Okay, so when it comes to the first question, we were asked, what moment is it? The table definitely defines team action and their breakup, and how much fans are invested inside of the Schmoedown. So it's not just about the Action Army; it's about the Schmoedown in general and what that meant. The Action Army is a big part of the Schmoedown, and we are only allowed that because of team action, and it only solidified because of that event with the table. Houston also solidified that because that was a live event where we all came together. And ever since that live event, it is a staple for every single Action Army member who loves and appreciates team action for what they are and who they are, and always support Ben and Drew in every single thing that they do. We are always here. So Houston solidified that as well. And in for the third question, what all of the characteristics that Gracie Hart has, the funniness and the loyalty is a huge part of all of the generals.
Okay. The Action Army is flawed, and Gracie Hart is flawed. I hear you. All right.
I mean, there are some people who are still on Team Trader. Okay.
Kelsey.
Thank you for saying, because I really did not want her to feel attacked for the third time.
Trader. Excuse me. Sorry. Kelsey.
Trader.
Who's that?
It's dangerous to be coughing and sneezing right now.
Yeah,
you have to be careful
Not
with
the wisest.
the Trader virus.
So who's not coughing right now?
She is actually the most responsible of all of us. Okay. All right.
Buck, thank you for being on an honourary ladies' night, maybe?
And Ferris, you're totally 100% correct. We are looking at you, Kelsey.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. Oh, BC. Okay. I really wanted to see Warrior for a while. Harloff, Ben, and Drew keep having him convince me to finally watch it, and I loved it. Showed it to my parents, and they loved it too. An A+ film.
It's a great film, but also watch Miss Congeniality because it's just fucking fun, okay?
It's a fun fucking time. That's for damn sure. All right. Okay. We are going to be moving on to Brandon. You have 1 minute to really wrap it up, like I mentioned, and really sell us on Warriors. Brian Conlon, was it?
Brendan
Conlon.
A name that people called me all throughout school, that's another reason why I picked it.
Oh, there you go.
That's basically like my name.
Brendan Conlon of Warrior. Let's do this. You have 1 minute starting now.
So, the Action Army is the best thing about the Schmoedown. It's the reason why I stayed and why I came back, because I kind of was not as serious about the Schmoedown for a while. But I was always part of the Action Army, and the fans is what makes the Schmoedown. So Action Army being the best fan base is reason why I love the Schmoedown. And what movie does all of the Action Army love? Not just the generals, all Action Army members, is Warrior. Brendan Conlon embodies every single one of us, not just generals, every single Action Army member. We feel like we connect with them. The Houston event and Warrior both tug at our heartstrings. Every time we think about it, we cry. It's just hard.
How fun would this have been if I actually would have picked Tommy from Warrior? What a fucking missed opportunity. I'm so sorry to everyone.
A horrible missed opportunity for sure. What could have been?
Truly.
Okay. Guys, you guys heard it. That wraps it up. You guys have to go over to Twitter. Really let us know what you guys think. Who's going to walk away a winner? Who's going to walk away a loser? By letting us know through your votes.
Sorry.
Like I mentioned, we want you guys to vote objectively. Vote specifically on the arguments made by these two wonderful generals, these wonderful people overall. Okay. And yes, Jake, you can go ahead and do it right there on Twitter. And in the meantime, you guys got 10 minutes. For us to kind of wait for you and to go vote. So in the meantime, you guys go send in those Streamlabs. That would be pretty dope, I have to say. if you sent us those questions or whatever it may be. And also, what would you pick for the third and final question? Yeah. How do you feel now that you're done? It's all wrapped up.
Oh my goodness. I'll admit I was pretty nervous about going against Buck on this. I totally have 100% confidence in Danny rants, and especially with movie fights and stuff like that. The movie fights are one of the reasons why I got into the Schmoedown. So the rules for movie fights and the whole idea behind it has always been one of my favorite things. Alex, Alex can't vote, so y'all don't think that this is just trying to rub ass for some votes, but like, Alex, seriously, you've done a great job with this show, and it's so much fun to watch. And I was not expecting this this topic. I knew that you had asked me and Brandon to go up against each other, and Alex does a great job at withholding the topic until it is close time. So regardless of me and Alex being on this channel together, Alex does a great unbiased job at this whole show, and she withheld that topic for a long time. So I had as much time to prep as Brandon did. So I definitely condone you for that. I love this show. I think it's so much fun, and this topic was a lot of fun, but I knew that no matter what the topic was, Brandon was going to be definitely someone who could hold their own against some Danny rants. So you did a great job, my dude.
Not kidding.
I'm just trying to not get completely burned. I was just trying to have a fun time. It's just always fun to think about everything action army wise. It's like, it's such a close-knit group. It's really amazing. I haven't actually met anyone in person in the Action Army. So with all these live events being canceled, I get I get so bummed. And I saw the news out of California today that they may shut down for another 3 months. So I was like, when are we getting the next actual event not on StreamYards? Which StreamYards is fun, but after watching these, basically going back and watching all of these today to kind of write down some notes so that I kind of have some counter arguments, it just made me miss the actual movie trivia Schmoedown, just cutting these promos and just watching all these amazing men and women compete and do something that they love. It just makes me miss it so much more.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely a very loyal, very protective, and territorial bunch for sure. Speaking of which, we actually did get a message through Streamlabs. Thank you so much to Ferris, and I actually put in the private chat. If Kelsey, if you could read it, that'd be great.
Sure can. I love the Action Army, even Jake.
That's tough because Jake goes after Ferris all the time.
That's hilarious.
In the general's chat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we can take a second to just promote signing up for general status on the guys' Patreon, Action Industries, all of that. We have so much fun. It's hilarious. And it's hilarious anytime we get a new general inside of the chat, because the first thing that we tell a new general, it's not. The first thing that we tell any new general inside of that chat is like, all right, either keep your notifications on and be prepared for a flood, or turn your notifications off and not have any idea what we're talking about.
It's ridiculous. There have been
all we do is talk about food. All we do is talk about food.
I remember there was like one because I silent mine it's like a whole thing where I like silent mine, like while I'm working, otherwise, just whatever it may be. And as a result, there was like one where I would still be notified, but it would still be silent at the same time. And there was once where I ended up getting over 900 and like 70 notifications from that chat in particular over the span of a work day.
Oh man.
Like I'm not exaggerating, but it was like confirmed. Like someone posted like on Twitter like a picture of their notifications from that one chat, and it was actually over 1,000. Danny posted over 3,000 unread messages, and so we're a very active group. We definitely like to support each other, and really, we have each other's back. I mean, we're very tight knit. We're very territorial. We're very protective of each other as well.
And
That's
that's a lot
so-
to say, apparently.
What's weird is that you'll have periods of that where it's just nonstop, and then there's some where I'm like, are my notifications off? Did I get out of the group chat? Because it's just dead. It's either one. It's absolute.
Sometimes it is. Yeah.
And then someone brings up poutine or mayonnaise on grilled cheese, and then the chat fucking goes nuts.
Oh,
gosh.
speaking
Okay,
about
guys.
food,
Okay, that's like a whole conversation, guys. Okay, now we're talking about food again, but it's a thing.
almost thought about bringing up the other food debate.
Thank you so much, Ferris. Again, Jake, I still love you.
Maybe we should have picked John Favreau's character from Chef, so we can just talk about how the Action Army generals only
In
talk
the
about.
Action Army,
We only talk about food.
Okay, so in Chef, he uses mayonnaise.
Oh,
But I
don't
tried
talk
the
about this
mayonnaise.
anymore.
It was a disaster. So
You're not using it correctly. How much mayo are you using?
You
Clearly.
don't need to use mayo. It's nasty.
it burned
Okay,
like
now-
instantly. The second I touched the pan on low, it just turned to ash twice. I
I will tell
literally
you, every time I've made it, it's come out perfect. If you read any chef magazine where they talk about the perfect grilled cheese, if you look at Gordon Ramsay or Emerald or Giada, all of them, what do they use? Mayo. They don't use butter on their grilled cheese. Okay, just saying. Just saying. That's a whole conversation.
Next
Team
Schmoebates
butter.
is going to be a mutter versus. But I said mutter.
I'm gonna
That's
make
butter.
I'm gonna make you
Mayo
two
versus-
perfect grilled cheeses, one with butter, one with mayo, and you're not gonna be able to tell the difference.
except that one's gonna be burned to a crisp.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
The
Never
mayo.
know.
I know those are the arguments between those two, like mayo versus
No,
butter. Like
no.
one of them is gonna burn.
Mayo has a lower smoke point, so it is
I need some water
versus
right now.
butter.
Oh,
Butter is
just hearing
has
the
a
word.
significantly higher.
Just hearing the
smoke point.
word mayo makes me
So-
cringe.
Thank you, Brandon.
I don't like
Jeez,
mayo on
like-
any other thing. I only like it when making grilling my sandwiches. Anyway, okay. But Kelsey, how much time do we have remaining?
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, meaning Jake is going to be preparing that here pretty soon. And, next week on Schmoebates, poutine or loaded fries.
Oh my gosh.
Just keep on
That's-
keeping on
that's
with
what
all the
it is.
munchy yummies.
Yes,
We
which
should
is
have a
actually-
food themed episode.
Isn't that for
someday.
chill though?
It
Isn't
is.
that a
That's what I was
question
just
for
about to
chill?
say. That is a this or that question. If anyone here is not familiar with Chill to Action, we do Chill to Action every Monday on this channel, and Paul Denizio does the section where we do this or that, and poutine versus loaded fries, which was an enormous argument inside of the general's chat, and it was so big of an argument that we decided to move it to the this or that section of Chill to Action for that particular reason, because it was such a hot debate inside of the general's chat. And honestly, like, just the general, if you can sign up to hang out with us inside the general's chat, it's a lot of fun. Even if it's only for a little while, you guys come and hang out with us, support Team Action, because we are all still very much Team Action loyalists, all four of us that are here. Jake also inside of the back. So do that so you can come in and give your hot takes on some food. And Warrior.
Mm.
And how does it pronounce
Warrior.
coupon?
And how to pronounce coupon. Oh my God. Can we
Coupon.
have that conversation again? Alex, pronounce coupon.
It's coupon.
No, it's not.
Coupon.
Oh, tomato, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I moved around a bit growing up, so I have some weird accents picked up here and there on certain words. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, I say soda. Some people say pop. Some people
Yeah,
say
monsters.
I
But,
said soda pop.
Yeah, monsters. But, again, a whole other conversation.
soda. Yeah.
Okay, so again, you guys have to go on Twitter to really make those arguments. We only got like a minute or so left, so let us know who's going to walk away a winner today.
It's actually 30 seconds.
Well, 30 seconds, that one.
Boat, rock the boat.
Rock the Boat. Oh wait, what is that movie? I think it's technically called Rock the Boat, depending if you when I saw it was called Pirate Radio.
Oh, I love
And-
that.
Yeah, so I think it's like it has a different title in the UK versus the US. So it's both Rock the Boat and also Pirate Radio.
I love Pirate Radio. Oh, that's such a great movie.
That's it.
It's time.
Okay.
I'm so
Done.
nervous. I'm so nervous because usually whenever Schmoebates happens, I can vote on Twitter and I can see where the votes are going.
I know.
I'm not allowed to vote. So I'm so nervous because I
Yes.
literally have no
Okay,
idea
guys,
where this is going.
Please do not look in the private chat.
No.
Danny and Brandon.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I'm switching it over to live comments right
not do
now. There we go.
Okay.
I'm glad I was in live comments.
Live comments went away from me for a little while, and now
Yeah,
they're back.
I turned off the live comments for you guys just because I know when you guys are arguing and kind of arguing and trying to pay attention to each other, sometimes it can be a little distracting to, listen to the arguments and also read comments. So I decided, to turn the comments off. So, Philip Seymour Hoffman steals the movie. What movie does he steal a show in?
Exactly.
Literally every flipping movie.
PSH. That's an Action Army
R.I.P.
long
R.I.P.
gem.
Philip Seymour.
PSH. Yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P.
All right. We have our winner.
Oh
we
my
have
God.
the numbers are in. And round 1 being best team action moment. The winner is Brandon Buckingham with the tackle of Guy tackling Roka with 57.1% of the vote against Danielle's 42.9.
Okay, I got one, so I'm good.
That's a close vote, though. That's a close vote.
Good job, guys.
Okay. Moving on to round 2. The question being,
Oh my gosh.
best team action match. The votes are in, saying Danielle with the Houston Civil War match with 57.9% of the vote against Buckingham with the Action versus Shy Wolves at 42.1% of the vote.
That's also pretty cool. Oh my gosh.
So we have a 1 versus 1, y'all. 1 versus 1. And for our third and final question, what movie character best embodies the mentality, nay, the attitude of the Action Army General? It is with 64.7 of the vote.
Oh shit.
Danielle with Gracie Hart from Mitch Congeniality.
64.
Up against Brandon Buckingham with 35.3% of the vote, meaning today Danielle is our winner of today's show.
64.
Oh my goodness. I'm legit surprised. I'm super surprised with that. Oh my gosh. Brandon, my dude, that was a barn burner of a show. I feel like, at least when it comes to the Action Generals, that's the perfect movie to pick. And I legitimately believe it's because I've been a movie fights fan for a long time. And I do believe that it's how you argue your statement on it, not whether or not one is better than the other. It's just how you argue. And it's very hard to go against Danny Rance.
Oh, by the way, Danny, you made Warrior lose. How dare you?
I did. I made Warrior lose. I will forever be shamed for that, but also I will carry this victory on my back, and I am so proud.
Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys off the screen for a hot minute while we have some one-on-one conversations. Give us a minute. Okay, over to you, Brandon. This was your first debate. Congratulations on wrapping it up. You won 1 out of the 3 debates today. How are you feeling?
Feel pretty good. Didn't realize that the landslide of that third question, I was quite surprised by that. I thought, just to be honest, with just picking Warrior and how that is such a huge movie for the entire Action Army, especially the Generals.
So you kind of went it's almost assumed because of the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. We do love that movie. We're obsessed with that movie.
And it's really interesting to hear someone say, "Oh, it's okay, it's decent," and just people just will jump on. How dare you? Movie is the best thing. They'll go after them. But I, to be honest, I was just glad it wasn't a complete sweep. I got one question. It's my first match.
They were all really, aside from the last one, which is neither here or there, but both the first and second question were incredibly, incredibly close. So,
yeah,
I would love to, have you back in the future. That's for sure.
Yes.
And anytime that you need someone, I am down for another Schmoebates. I had fun.
Thank you so much. And Kelsey, do you have any questions for Brendan?
I guess, is there anybody you would like to play that you can think of that has maybe you've played before or hasn't?
No, not really. I can't think of anyone because I'm trying to think in terms of Schmoedown related. Maybe someone from like a different faction type of thing.
That'd be cool.
Maybe because I know the Finstock Exchange is kind of their fan base is growing quite a bit. So maybe someone from there, I think would be fun.
Okay.
That would be fun. Awesome.
I got you. I hear you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's for sure from Finstock Exchange. All right. Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Please hang on after. We kind of wrap things up and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Danielle, girl, how you feeling? Chugging that claw.
Pretty good, y'all. Pretty good. I legitimately did not think that I was going to win this. Brandon had wonderful arguments against it. Warrior is a wonderful movie. I feel like I have to chalk this up to experience just a little bit. Brandon, if you ever want some help trying to figure out how to debate things, I'm here for you, my dude, because generals will always stick together no matter what. That's not a slight. That's not a side on anything. That's not shade or anything like that at all. But I wanted Brandon to argue his points a little bit more in certain things, and but that's what the show is. The show is about debating. It's not whether your choice is right or wrong. It's how you argue your point against it, and that's why I appreciate Brandon so much for this whole thing, because it came down to it. I legitimately did not think that I was going to win with these picks that I chose, but I knew that I had to come in hard and really back the choices that I made for these picks, because I believe in all of these picks. I do believe that the best moment for the Action Army was the table moment. That's when Team Action broke up, and that's when the Action Army solidified. And yeah, you can go ahead and say that my arguments were more towards Action Army over Team Action, but Team Action is the Action Army. The generals are Team Action. The generals are the Action Army. So I'm very pumped about this win. Also very sad about this win, just because I love Brandon. Brandon is one of my favorite people inside of the Generals chat. He's always articulate in his opinions for everything that happens. So big salute to my dude. And I'm super pumped. I am really pumped about this.
Well, currently, Danny, with that being said, you won today's match, 2 out of the 3 debates. So technically speaking, you are currently 2-0. So just kind of picking up what Kelsey was mentioning earlier, who would you like to, play in the future?
You know what? I'm going to back Brandon on this, and anyone from the Finstock Exchange. If anyone from the Finstock Exchange wants to argue, or anyone outside of the Action Army, if you consider yourself not a part of the Action Army, come in, show me, come in and show me what you got. I'm 2-0 on this, and I believe in the Action Army and all of that stuff. So with the Finstock Exchange or any other even Den members, I love Den. That's totally fine. Swag, don't come for me because I love y'all. So please don't come for me.
Anyone can come for me except Swag, because I love Swag.
Anyone can come for me except Swag. But Finstock Exchange, let's do this, because that is what it is. And y'all want a fan rivalry? Let's do this on Schmoebates. Let's get that Finstock Exchange on Schmoebates arguing against the Action Army, so we can do this, because I guarantee you anyone inside of the Action Army can debate totally around the Finstock Exchange. We got this. Let's do this.
For sure. Okay, so it sounds like you mentioned you're kind of out for blood against someone from the Finstock Exchange, or just any other factions except Swag, because
other faction except Swag.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Brandon back up, and we're gonna be wrapping things up over here. Okay, for future reference, Kelsey, love of my life, and what a shining light you are. Where can we find you and everything you're doing and all that, a bag of chips?
All right, you can find me at KelseyKins90 on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also on the Call to Action Podcast Instagram, so you can interact with me there. TeePublic, we have merch. I believe a sale either starts today or tomorrow on there. So get your cool Schmoedown and Call to Action stuff. I also have my own YouTube channel. Just search Kelsey Kirkland and click on my face. Please subscribe. That's where Ladies Night will be moving part-time. And I also do a lot of other content, movie reviews, reactions, and Harley Quinn related stuff. So if you'd subscribe, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. So if you could help with that, that would be awesome.
All right, awesome. Yeah, definitely check those out if you want to see our Ladies Night episodes here in the future for sure. Over to you, winner of the night, Danielle.
That's right. You can find me on Twitter at Danny Joy right here, DANIEEJOY. You can find me there. You can find me every Monday on the Call to Action Network, hosting Chill to Action with my favorite co-host, Mr. Paul Denuzio. We are having Eric Rodriguez, Nerd Chronic, coming up on next Monday. We are super pumped about that. And then Tim Franco is coming in the week after that. And just a heads up, that same episode of Tim Franco is actually my birthday. So that's going to be a fun episode. We're going to have a lot of fun with that, and we're super pumped. Make sure that you subscribe to the Call to Action if you have not. Like this video, comment on this video, comment to any other video that has already aired. We do a lot of live things, but make sure that you comment after that. C2A to 2K, we will get there. All of that good stuff. You can also find my personal channel. I'm doing stuff, I promise. I just had to go back to work. My bad.
And last but not least, Brandon, where can we find you? Everything you're working on, as well as your podcast stuff as well.
Yeah, kind of started a podcast here last month, 6 weeks or so. Very small right now. Don't post a whole lot. I will post occasionally. But if you just search Brandon Buck, you'll find me. It's usually I'm pretty active there on Twitter. Instagram, not as much. But yeah, go ahead and give me a follow. Tweet at me if you like what I saw today, or if you didn't like what you saw, tweet at me and I'll just ignore it. You can always do that.
So don't come for Brandon, because if you're going to try to come for Brandon, then you're also coming for me. So I'm a mama bear when it comes to my general, so don't do it.
So,
that's true.
As you guys were talking, I thought of who I would like to face.
Okay.
Or what faction. So a lot of people are saying that this faction is on our level, and I always chuckle.
I know what you're saying.
I always chuckle when I hear they are a very close-knit fan base. They are growing. It's the Bandit Brigade by Ben Goddard. And the reason why they're growing so much is their Discord is very active. There's a lot of people in there. They're always chatting. And I created their Discord, by the way. So
I'm also in their Discord. So
I'm just gonna throw that out. That they wouldn't be there without me. So just saying, you guys would not be a close-knit fam. So
throwing down the gauntlet. All right.
Actually, we may need to bring Brandy on here.
Come at us, bro.
Okay.
I think Brandy would be a good person to choose there.
Okay, I hear you. I'll have to check her out. That's for dang sure. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and give a quick announcement. I'm going to take you off. Thank you. And I do want to chat with you guys after we get done recording. So please hang on and give you a hot minute. All right. Oh, that's a lot of me. That's a lot of me. But I don't like that. Kelsey, help me make this announcement.
All right. This is going to be a great announcement. And Alex first started bringing it up. I was pretty excited about it. And I think you guys are going to be pretty excited about it too.
Yes. Okay. So just kind of elaborating, this is something I've been working on actively for months, actively for a very long time. And also kind of going on trying to figure this out, how I can make this work is definitely something that's been a work in progress for a very long time. And you've asked for it. It's happening. We are actually having a tournament of champions. We have James. Next week, it's going to be the start of the Tournament of Champions. We have James White versus Dwayne Burke next week on the 20th. The following week, on the 27th, we have Ben Bateman up against Brendan Meyer on the 27th. So that's going to be really great. On the 3rd of June, it's going to be Billy Belford versus William Bibbiani. And last but not least, the two ladies on the roster, we have Rachel Silvestrini up against Danielle Ramirez. Now, okay. So, I went how I kind of chose about some of these competitors was also not only just due to availability, but also because I picked Belford in particular because he is actually sitting on a 3-0 winning streak. So you cannot ignore those wins for sure. And Danielle, she is currently sitting on 2-0 as well. So nothing to snip at, obviously. Okay. Yeah. So I want to know, what do you guys think? How do you think it was like, what do your brackets look like? And who would you love to see coming out of this a winner for this Tournament of Champions for our first tournament for Schmoebates is happening. Yeah. I would love to know what you guys think. I would love to know who you guys think could actually pull out of here a winner for sure. And let me know, which match in particular is going to be your favorite, or who do you think is going to be winning for sure. All right. Awesome. And congratulations to everyone that participated and involved. I can't thank you guys enough. It's been a very intense work in progress. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again, and we'll see you soon. Please like and subscribe. You can check me out at RealAlexMac on Twitter, and like and subscribe and check this out. All the C-Toy videos. We really appreciate it. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.